What if everything you knew about the devil's fall was a lie? What if Lucifer didn't rebel against heaven, but was chosen for the darkest mission ever ordained? Tonight, we uncover a forbidden truth buried in ancient texts for millennia. A truth that will shatter your understanding of good and evil forever. In the shadowy corners of forgotten libraries, in texts older than the Bible itself, lies a different story of Lucifer's descent. Not a tale of pride and punishment, but of sacrifice and divine purpose. The Book of Enoch whispers it. The Gnostic Gospels hinted it. Even the canonical scriptures, when read through ancient Hebrew eyes, reveal cracks in the traditional narrative. But why would heaven need a devil? Why would God's most beautiful angel accept such a cursed role? Consider this. In the Dead Sea Scrolls, fragment 4Q 5428 speaks of the appointed one who must descend. Not the fallen one, the appointed one. The War Scroll mentions a cosmic battle where both sides serve the same master. How can this be? The answer lies in understanding the cosmic balance itself, a truth so profound that it was hidden from humanity until now. But here's where it gets truly shocking. The same texts that condemn Lucifer also call him the seal of perfection and full of wisdom. Would God speak so highly of a traitor? How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? Isaiah 14:12 has echoed through centuries as proof of Satan's rebellion, but the Hebrew word nephal, translated as fallen, carries another meaning: to be cast down with purpose. In Ezekiel 28:14 we read, "Thou art the anointed cherub that covereth, and I have set thee so." Notice the words, "I have set thee." Not "you rebelled," but "I positioned you." The original Hebrew suggests appointment, not abandonment, purpose, not punishment. But wait, it gets even more intriguing. In the book of Job, Satan appears in God's court, not as an intruder, but as part of the divine council. Now there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan came also among them. Think about that. Satan has access to heaven. He converses with God. He follows rules. Does this sound like a banished rebel to you? Here's the mind-bending part. In 1 Chronicles 21:1, we read, Satan stood up against Israel and provoked David to number Israel. But in 2 Samuel 24:1, the same event is described differently. The anger of the Lord was kindled against Israel, and he moved David against them. Same event, two accounts. One attributes the action to Satan, the other to God himself. Could it be that the morning star's descent was not a fall, but a mission? The Hebrew word Satan doesn't mean evil one, it means adversary or prosecutor. Not a name, but a job title. And every court needs a prosecutor, doesn't it? Deep within the book of Enoch, we find a startling passage. And the Lord said unto Michael, Go, bind Senjazer and his associates. But first, let the watcher fulfill his purpose among men. The Gnostic text, the Apocryphon of John, speaks even more boldly. The chief archon was not cast out, but sent forth to test the spirits of men, that the wheat might be separated from the chaff. Jewish mystical tradition, the Midrash, preserves an extraordinary dialogue between God and the angels before creation. Who will test my children? Who will refine their souls through trial? And one voice, the brightest of all, answered, I will go. I will be the adversary they need. But why would any being willingly become the embodiment of evil? The answer appears in the Testament of Job, where Satan himself speaks. I am he who was given authority to test the righteous, that their faith might shine brighter than the stars. Now, here's something that will chill you to the bone. The Book of Jubilees refers to a divine lottery, yes, a lottery, where one angel had to be chosen for the darkest role in creation, and the lot fell on the brightest. Think about that. A cosmic game of chance? Or divine predestination disguised as random selection? The Slavonic Book of Enoch takes it even further, describing how Lucifer was shown the future, all the hate, all the blame, all the curses that would be heaped upon him throughout human history, and still he said yes. But the real shock comes from the Nag Hammadi texts, discovered in 1945. Here we find the testimony of truth, which states, "The serpent was wiser than all the animals, for he knew the truth that the Creator wished to hide." What truth? That knowledge itself, both good and evil, was always meant to be humanity's inheritance. And someone had to deliver it. In the celestial court, before time began, a terrible truth was revealed. Free will without opposition is meaningless. Love without choice is empty. Light without shadow cannot be comprehended. The ancient texts speak of the great necessity, the cosmic law that required an adversary. Someone had to play the role of the tempter, the accuser, the refiner of souls. And Satan answered the Lord and said, "From going to and fro in the earth, and from walking up and down in it," Job 1:7. Notice, Satan reports directly to God. He operates within divine parameters. He cannot exceed his boundaries. But here's the detail everyone misses. In Job 1:12, God says, "Behold, all that he hath is in thy power, only upon himself put not forth thine hand." God sets the limits. Satan obeys them. This isn't rebellion, this is following orders. What being would be strong enough, wise enough, and paradoxically loving enough to accept eternal hatred for the sake of God's plan? The Dead Sea Scrolls provide a haunting answer in the angelic liturgy. Blessed be the accuser in the counsel of God, for through him the hearts of the righteous are revealed. Wait, blessed? The accuser is blessed in God's own counsel? The pattern becomes undeniable. In Zechariah 3:1-2, Satan stands to accuse Joshua the high priest. But God rebukes Satan not for existing, not for being evil, but simply for this specific accusation, like a prosecutor being overruled by a judge. Still part of the court, still serving justice. Only the greatest angel could bear this burden, only the morning star himself. And here's the most devastating revelation. The Kabbalah teaches that every soul must face its own darkness to achieve enlightenment. Without the adventure, there can be no spiritual growth. Without temptation, there can be no triumph. Lucifer didn't just accept damnation. He accepted becoming the very mechanism of human elevation. Imagine the scene. Heaven's most glorious angel, closest to the throne of God, volunteers for the ultimate sacrifice. Not his life, that would be too easy, but his reputation, his glory, his very identity. The Book of Enoch records, "And he descended not in rebellion, but in obedience to the deepest mystery of creation." To become the villain in God's story, to bear the hatred of billions, to be blamed for every evil while knowing his true purpose remains hidden. This is not the tale of a prideful angel's downfall. This is the story of heaven's greatest hero, playing heaven's darkest role. But the evidence goes deeper. The apocryphal Questions of Bartholomew contains a conversation between Jesus and Satan. Christ calls him the first angel created and speaks to him with respect, understanding, even compassion. The Gospel of Nicodemus mentions Christ's descent into hell, where he doesn't destroy Satan, but speaks of a coming age when all things shall be revealed and every sacrifice understood. And the most shocking truth? He's still playing it today. In Revelation 12:10, Satan is called the accuser of our brethren, which accused them before our God day and night. Present tense, still in heaven, still before God, still doing his job. The Syrian Christian tradition preserves an ancient hymn, O morning star, who bears the pain of ages. Thy sacrifice shall be known when time itself is ended. Consider this. If Satan truly rebelled, why doesn't God simply destroy him? Omnipotence could end evil in an instant. Unless evil serves a purpose. Unless the adversary is still following the plan. If Lucifer was sent, not fallen, what does this mean for us? It means every temptation, every trial, every moment of darkness serves a divine purpose, not to destroy us, but to refine us. My brethren, count it all joy when you fall into divers temptations, knowing this, that the trying of your faith worketh patience. James 1-3. The adversary becomes not our destroyer, but our unwitting teacher. The darkness becomes the canvas upon which light can shine. But here's what should really make you question everything. If this truth was hidden, what else have we misunderstood? The Catholic mystic Origen wrote, before his works were declared heretical, in the end all shall be restored, even the devil himself, for his role in the divine drama shall be complete. The Eastern Orthodox concept of apokatastasis, the eventual restoration of all things, includes even Satan. Because how can a mission have eternal punishment as its reward? Modern quantum physics speaks of necessary opposition, particle and antiparticle, matter and antimatter. Creation itself requires duality. Did the ancients know what we're only now discovering? Here's the terrifying question. If Satan is still serving God's purpose, then what about our own darkest moments, our failures, our falls? Are they too part of a greater design? The Sufi mystic Rumi wrote, Satan is merely the shadow cast by the light of God, necessary for the light to be seen. So we return to our original question. Did Lucifer fall, or was he sent? The ancient texts suggest an answer that should shake us to our core. In the grand tapestry of existence, even the devil serves God's purpose. Even evil ultimately serves good. Perhaps the greatest deception wasn't that Lucifer fell from heaven. Perhaps it was convincing us that he fell at all. What other truths lie hidden in the shadows of Scripture? What other heroes wear the mask of villains? The next time you face your own darkness, remember, sometimes the greatest light comes from accepting the deepest shadow. Sometimes the greatest service requires the ultimate sacrifice. And sometimes even angels must play the devil's part. In the end, we're left with the most profound mystery of all. If Lucifer's fall was actually a mission, if the devil himself serves God, then what does that make us? What is our role in this cosmic drama? Are we the audience, the players, or something else entirely, the very reason for the play itself? The texts suggest we are the prize in a cosmic wager, the gold refined in the furnace of trial, The children who can only become gods by choosing to be so. And for that choice to be real, we needed a real adversary. We needed someone to play the darkness so we could choose the light. We needed Lucifer to take the hardest mission of all. In the world, Mothman known to man. For now, just keep looking into the skies and realize that no single star has fled, not fallen. Let's talk about this forbidden truth together. If this revelation shook your understanding of biblical history, you need to watch this next. The God who was buried and the one who took his place. Clack now. The rabbit hole goes deeper than you imagine.